people, welcome to another exciting episode of the TOD Show. I am your host, Abayomi Odunola, and I have on set with me today a gentleman and very hardworking who has been able to organize one of the best leadership conference in Nigeria, the Future Leadership Conference. I have on set with me Mr. Mark Idiaye. Hello, Mr. Mark.
Hello.
Thank you for honoring our invitation.
Thank you
to come
so
to the
much. The
show.
pleasure is all mine.
Sir, can we meet you?
Also, my name is Mark Idiahi. I'm the convener of Future Leadership Conference and Award and the founder of Second Chance Care Foundation. The Second Chance Care Foundation is an NGO that is focused on prisoners reformation.
Wow.
By the way, prison, the term prison is no longer used, saying to the new bill that has been passed. So they are now being addressed as offenders. But basically, what the NGO is all about is to seek to the reformation of those that are in incarceration.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've been about this for the past 7 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what actually led you to this kind of foundation?
There's a spiritual connotation to it. You know, a lot of people think that maybe the reason why I have passion for this is because I've been to prison. Now, I have no, this is not in any way to spite anyone who has been in prison, okay? But I haven't been there. I haven't been arrested or arrested someone. I've been a peaceful, lovely guy, you know. But on this particular occasion, it was on the 13th of December 2014, to be precise. I heard a voice, an audible voice. I thought it was from outside, but I got to find out that it was from within. And the voice says, "Go to the prison and feed my people." So I woke up from sleep, knocked. My mom was around. I knocked on her door. I thought she had spoken. She was the one that spoke to me. Yeah. And she said to me, "No, you are the one that woke me up. I'm still asleep." And all that. So it was then it dawned on me that maybe God was trying to whisper something to me. Yeah. So I went back to the same spot. This time around, I was trying to fake sleep, you know, because I wasn't sleeping.
Like, so that you can have a continuation of what
Yes, you know.
happened.
So I lie in that same spot, and the voice came again. This was when it dawned on me that it was from the inside, not from the outside. But you know what? I've learned many years ago that when I hear that voice, I have to be spontaneous. I have to respond to it very swiftly. I went to I took my phone, googled, where's the nearest prison? Yeah, and it picked up Kirikiri prison, and I drove to the place, and I sat. It was very early, 8 a.m. in the morning. These people haven't gone through the morning routine that they normally would do. So here was I showing up before them. So because there was nobody to attend to me, I sat just opposite the place. You've ever been there, you know, they have this shade. So I sat under the place, just waiting for them to resume and open the gate and all of that. Then a man drove straight to where I was seated and said, "Young man, what do you want? It's very early this morning." And I began to narrate the experience that I had. And he said, "Okay, hold on." He took the phone, called somebody from the inside, and it happened that the person that he called is a senior official. And he himself is a very senior official in that place. So he said, "Take this young man to the DCP." Now, because when I left the house, I asked for 3 signs. If this is the voice of God, I don't want to struggle. Let this not be one of those ideas I try to make happen.
God should make a way directly.
Just make a way somehow. So now this was the 4th sign. So the man who met me, called someone from the inside to come out and said, "Take this young man to go and meet the DCP." So they took me right. Now, all the bottleneck bureaucracy, do you have an appointment? Who do you want to see? And the rest was backcutted. Do you understand? Yeah. So cut to the chase. They took me to the DCP office, and here I was with him. I said, "Young man, what do you want?" Then I again repeated the same how that I heard a voice and blah, blah, blah. And he said, "Okay, I'm not the only person that need to hear this. Let me call someone else." And he called the chief superintendent of the prison to come. So when he called, who is now my friend, Chief Superintendent Ogbona Alu. So he called the man and he said, "Can you just repeat what you just said?" When I repeated it in the presence of this man couldn't hold himself. He just went and he was shouting and screaming. I didn't know what happened. I thought, did I say anything wrong? What did I do now? But anyway, when he summoned down, when he get a hold of himself, he said, "I've just been here for 2 months. When I was transferred to this place, I said to God, send me someone like an angel who will come in and partner with me so that we can do the kind of programs to impart these people." So when I showed up the way I did, it just...
like answered prayer for
Oh
him.
my goodness, this was an answered prayer. So we went on, long story short, we had the event, people came out, business, they gave us a 2-page, to tell the story on 2-page cover on the center spread, actually on business day. And the event went out, lights were transformed. We brought in DJs, comedians, musicians, and we had a tremendous experience. It was tagged the spirit of Christmas. But then something happened. After that whole event, I got home. I was so happy and excited that I've done what I believe God has asked me to do. So now let's relax. And I didn't
Now on to
realize,
the next thing.
let's move on. It was then that it dawned on me, oh, this was not just supposed to be a one-off thing. It was something that we have to start doing now. So that was when the idea of the NGO registration and the rest comes in. But then I found out something that was more or less a very sad conundrum here. And I said to myself, these people are already in prison, they're in incarceration. They've done something that the society said they have done, or some, let me not even go to that end, because there are people in prison, law behind the bars, who haven't even had the opportunity of a fair trial by going to the court, and they've been in that place for 15 years, 20 years. Can you imagine that? Somebody has been locked behind the bars, and the person has never been to court for 15 years,
No
some
trial,
10 years, no
nothing.
trial. He's just there, passing time, locked up, because to some of them, because they cannot afford the legal representation. So I started thinking, what about people who are on the street, the young guys, without direction, without mentorship, without inspiration? If they don't have the guidance that they need, they will ultimately end up like these other people here. So the idea of having a conference was birthed. The conference basically is to create a platform where young people, a lot of people don't know that there's a spiritual undertone behind what we do. It is
The
our
future
leadership conference. Yeah, we're talking about future leaders, and but the goal ultimately is to be able to create a platform, curate a platform where, when young people come under the atmosphere, under the ambience, and interface with the speakers, listen to the conversation, network with people, they should want to give up on a suicidal thought. They should want to say, you know what, I'm giving up on these habits, on this attitude that I have. Because if they don't give up on those attitude, they will end up like those folks who are behind bars. Yeah. So it's a two-street thing. We have the reformation for the prison that goes on. Then we have the one that we do with the conference that we call the preventive mechanism. When I say preventive mechanism, I'm saying in a nutshell that if people come in, I don't think there will be anyone who attended the conference just a couple of days ago who will still want to go on the street to rob or something. I mean, that has to be, something has to be fundamentally wrong with a young man who had come with, who had come and experienced the kind of experience that we had just a few days ago. And the person wants to go back to live the same life. Yeah, with it. Because the change has to begin from here.
True, I agree with that.
Oh, yeah. So people listen to the conversation, and a lot of people, the testimonials are amazing. We keep getting feedback from people who say, wow, thank you for putting this together. Someone said, I was contemplating suicide, and I thought, let me just show up for this one. In the evening, I do what I have to do. And he said,
and it was a life-changing experience.
This is exciting for me now. You know what? Guess what the person saw, that a lady that inspired her? It was the beauty of the place. She said to me, oh my goodness, she said, you mean that life can be beautiful? You mean I can come into this kind of environment? And she said to me, the people that lodge in this place, do they have two heads? I said, no. He said, so it means that we can live life at this pedestal. So she was reliving the experience she had with the beauty and the excellence. Not so much about what the speaker said. And that is what we crave. So that when somebody comes, if the person is not going to be inspired by the environment, the building, or how we're able to put everything together, let it be what the speaker said, or somebody that they interacted with while they were sitting down. Oh yes, oh yes. So that's basically what informed what we do.
Wow. So, Mr. Mark, before this leadership conference and the prison reform program, what were you doing before all of this?
Oh, okay, I've had my life. I still do, even though this is something that I'm not very passionate about. I'm a certified brand communication strategist. Nice. Yes, I love to talk about branding, how people can leverage on some strategy to position their brand. I have this quote. It's actually my quote. I used to say that obscurity is the worst enemy of any brand. If you are not seen, you'll be forgotten. So what we do as a company, Unite Innovation, is to help individuals and brands and corporate organizations to devise strategy for brand visibility. Because you see, competition has never been this fierce as it is today. Now, so this is not the day where no matter how beautiful your talents, your products, amazing and all of that, if you don't make definite effort to put yourself on the face of people, you'll be forgotten and forgotten in a hurry. That means you have to be visible. You have
You
to
have
be
to be seen.
you have to be seen. You have to make deliberate effort to be seen. Otherwise, you'll be forgotten. Your gift, you can be the best painter or makeup artist or whatever. If people don't know about, if you don't make noise about what you do, if you don't make intentional effort to be on the face of people on a daily basis, why is that so? We live in a busy world. Never in the history have we had such a intrusion of messages, stories, all manner of stuff. You don't even ask. You don't have to ask for it. Just being on the social media,
social
you can be
media.
bombarded with unsolicited messages, narratives, and all whatnot. But you see, you want to be able to have some level of prominence and make significant impact in that space. It means that you have to be very deliberate about creating the awareness. In fact, you have to be a disruptor. You have to disrupt the space. And in disrupting the space, look at what you're doing now. Look at the beauty. Look at the panache. Look at the elegance. Because you want to get attention. All right? If you do this in another way, let's flip it. If you decide to do this in another way, the lighting is shallow, the makeup not on point, your camera is twisted, nobody want to pay you attention.
Yes, you're actually right. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Mark, as a brand strategist
Yeah.
over the years, how can you say the impact of technology? What is the major impact that you've observed over the years as a brand strategist of technology on branding?
Oh, technology, you see, it basically, what technology did to business or to brands, corporate organization, is to give them another face for relevance. All right. So anybody can be successful today. Any Gary Jebu seller can become what? A big brand tomorrow. You can leverage on technology no matter where you are. I'm talking about having a digital imprint. Anybody can be big. Anybody can, talk about, somebody said it cannot happen overnight. But I've seen people that blew overnight because of a single post that they made that went viral.
So that's like one of the positive impacts of
Effect,
technology.
yes,
social
of technology,
media.
yes, social media, being able to leverage on it for visibility. Now, let me just let me nail this with this. Now, we just had a conference,
Yeah.
and we didn't invest so much money in the conventional media. All right, but what did you do to get people's attention and retain it? We made sure that we were the first item you saw when you woke up in the morning, and we make sure that you saw us before you go to bed. And psychologists have told us that anything I see when I go to bed and I wake up
And you see it again.
in the morning, it has the capacity, it will basically live inside of you. Because I tell people that your campaign, your brand, whatever it is that you're promoting, is not successful until it has rented space in your subconsciousness. Yeah, when I have to dream about you, when I have to think about you in my subconsciousness, it means that you have done your homework. So we achieved that. People came in. If you were at the event, you saw that there was no seat.
It was well
In
attended.
fact, there was no seat. We beckoned on Oriental facility manager to give us seats. They said the place is filled up. They can't give us extra seat because that's what we pay for. The hall is filled, so it's filled up. So it means that it works. It will always work when you be on the face of people, consciously, deliberately. It will always pay off.
Leveraging
Oh,
on the use of technology
oh
and
yes.
social media.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Wow, that's nice.
It will always
And
work.
Mr. Mark, we need to go on a short break, and I can't wait to come back to smash this topic. Thank you so much. Yeah. We need to go on a quick break, and then after the break, we'll come back to join Mr. Mark on leadership and his other projects. Thank you.
Do you know that most parents did not plan their last born child? My own parents is as if they were doing Black Friday promo. Born 3 children, get 1 free. I'm the free one.
After performing stand-up comedy all over the world, Hero Daniels is ready for his one-man comedy special, The Black Friday Child.
Come see me live at Terra Culture Lagos by 5 p.m. on the 4th of December. Get your tickets at www.herodaniels.com. For sponsorship, please call.
Hero Daniels Live is sponsored by Munchets and supported by DSTV Nigeria.
And you're still on the TOD show, and I still have on set with me, Mr. Mark. Mr. Mark, can you just tell us something about you that people don't really know in the public space? I mean, there's something about you that people don't really know. Can we get to know you?
Very interesting. All right, I have someone here on the back scene, and he will attest to the fact that I'm a disciplinarian.
Wow.
And maybe I can attribute that to the fact that I was drilled by my mentors as well.
Okay.
I happen to be mentored by Dr. Bonking of blessed memory, and he's a troublemaker. He's a renowned troublemaker.
You don't look like one.
You need to see me when I'm in my
Really?
element. When I need things to be done and you're not getting it right, I tend to want to push you. I don't believe in impossibility. All right, we just launched a magazine and we got to the press and they told us that it was not possible for us to be able to publish that magazine in the space of 3 days. And you should see my eyes and everything.
Everything just changed.
That's everything will change. Because don't tell me that it's not possible. The question I need you to answer is, how can it be possible? So they told me, well, if you can pay for us to work overnight, then we can get it. I'm very dogged when it comes to getting things done. I don't like to take excuses. I don't give excuses and I don't accept excuses. But young people like to give excuses. Sure. They have excuses lined up on the thermometer why things can be done, why it should be done. And if you walk around and you happen to walk with me, I won't take that from you.
But seeing you on social media, you look like this cool person.
Yeah, that's
you like to pamper people.
Oh,
but so
it's not true. That's the actual tapestry, But when you get, because you see, you can't be in my space and do the kind of things that I do without being pragmatic, without getting your hands on the ply. I'm doing it firmly.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's why those that are very closest to me, I push them the most. And I always tell them it's so that you can come out the best, So like I am now, there's no way I can do what I'm doing right now if I wasn't pushed. I couldn't tell Ubonking that something can be done. He doesn't understand that language. Instead, come back to him and tell him, this is how it can be done. I said, get it done.
So there's no impossibility?
No impossibility at all.
So over the years, the conference, all your events and all,
Yes.
Can you share some of the challenges that you go through? Because I know it's not an easy journey.
Oh, it's not easy. For instance, after this event, the last one, I lost my voice for 2 days. I couldn't speak. So I went to the hospital and I said, doctor, see, I can talk. My goodness, God, thank you, I can talk. Listen, imagine, how do people go on and not being able to speak? I love to speak, but I couldn't speak. So I would tell them to read my lips. And the other day I was in a meeting, I said, read my lips. The guy said, I don't know what you're talking about.
And it can be frustrating.
Very
you want
frustrating.
to speak, but they cannot hear you.
They can't hear you. My voice was blocked. So the doctor said to me, you push yourself so hard. This is just stress. And you need to take your time and rest and you'll be fine. So there's that time where you want to get things done. And in the process, you find out that you are really pushing yourself so hard. Now, I got a clue now. I know what to be done. I need to raise more people. Not that I didn't have people working with me in the team, but I need people now who can do it the way I can do it.
That
It is
share
possible.
the same vision
Oh
also.
yeah, people who can share the burden with me, people who can embody the vision, people who can do it just the way Mr. Mark would do it. Because the fear has always been, if somebody else does it, they can't do it the way I would do it. That has been a fear that I nursed. And I'm just telling you, this is a confession now. That has been the fear that I've nursed over the years. Who can do it? But we've improved. Like, for instance, when we were preparing for this last edition, we had people going to the radio to speak for the event, not Mr. Mark. Because there are days that we needed to be on 3 radios, 4 radio stations, and the time were colliding. Somebody needed to go to Lasso FM. Somebody needed to be at the Inspirational FM. So I couldn't split myself. It was then that it dawned on me that if I don't have people who can speak the language, if I don't have people who can talk about the vision, so much so that if you listen to this person, you think that he's the convener, then I've failed. Because leadership is not about micromanaging people. Leadership is not about pushing people and always wanting to know what is there, how they doing. No. You have to have confidence in people. You have to believe that they can do it. Sometimes you just have to give them opportunity to make mistakes so that they can learn in the process. So that's one thing I took away from the 7 years of doing this.
But you've been able to overcome that
Oh
fear
yes,
now.
I have.
So
I have.
next year, anybody will just
No,
see
you'll
people.
be seeing me. You saw me everywhere. Next year, I'll just be sitting down
I'll make sure
somewhere,
that next year
chilling
you
out.
don't stand up from your
Oh,
chair.
yeah.
You're in front, like this, with a cup of wine, maybe white wine.
Yes, I'll just be chilling and
If
maybe
you
probably
stand
have a
up, I'll
turkey,
make sure.
chicken or something.
Well, it's so good to know that you've been able to overcome
Yeah.
a fear
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah.
Also, Mr. Mark, what do you feel about the new happenings in Nigeria, youth traveling out and all of that? You're a leadership coach, and I'm sure most of your target audience are young people.
Yeah.
What do you think about this whole thing? People traveling, feeling that the government has failed and all of that. What do you have to say about it?
All right. I belong in a totally different school of thought. I said to people that if you can jabba, that's the terminology that is used these days. You have the means to jabba legitimately. I won't stop you. I won't stop you. I won't say don't go. All right. Perhaps some people would never make it in this country. No, I'm a Christian. I read the Bible. I found out that there were people until they moved from the location, their location was never given. Because your success in life is tied to your location. Because your location will determine your allocation. Okay. That said, all of us cannot afford to jagba. All of us can. There has to be some collectives, some individuals, some people that still believe that this country can still work again. That in spite of the travel, the turbulence, the malfunctioning system, the erratic power supply, the banditry, the insecurity, that somehow, just somehow, I still have faith that this nation can still work again. Someone called me a chronic optimist. He simply said that I've refused to give up on this country. I say, yes, you have to need some people like me. There has to be some people like me who still believe that in spite of what may be going wrong, we can still get it right.
True.
So I believe that. I believe that. I know a lot of my friends that started with me, they used to have events. Some of them have also had need to relocate. No problem with that. But I'm still here. I'm still here. We had an event. The hall is packed full. A lot of people were giving hope. What if there was no future leadership conference? I told you of a lady who was suicidal,
Yeah,
right?
she was suicidal before the conference, and after the conference, she was able to change her mind.
Imagine
and
that.
hope.
Imagine that. Anytime I remember, I'm laughing. Do you know why? Because she didn't say what the speaker said. She said, I came to the place. I saw the beauty of the place. And I said to myself, I deserve more. I can live life
Instead
on
of
this.
taking her
Oh,
life.
why should I die? When I'm still living it, face me, I slap you. Come on. People lodging in this place, eating life and doing life on this pedestal, do they have two heads? So she was challenged, she got angered, and said, for goodness, my goodness, I have to do better. You see, but if there was no such conference, this is what people...
a platform like
or a
that.
platform. This is something that a lot of people need to understand. That you play a critical part in the whole equation.
True, I agree with
There's
you.
a role that you can play that only you can play. Without you, let me say this, let me put it in proper perspective. There are people that will never become all that God has destined for them to be until you become that which God has destined for you to be. So it's not just about you surviving. A lot of people need to get away from this survival mode.
Yes.
Everybody's trying to survive. Life is more than surviving. Life is more than surviving. Let's think about striving. Look at what you're doing in this country. Who in the world would think that they see such a beautiful lady like you with elegance and panache doing what you're doing right now? Meanwhile, somebody somewhere is thinking of killing herself because somebody doesn't like her or somebody doesn't, all the validation is not there and the rest of them. So let's move from trying to survive and finding out how we can strive in this country, irrespective of all the odds that may be stacked against us. That's what I believe.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mark. I'm still trying to digest all that you have said, and I'm sure that with your impact, God Almighty will definitely bless you in return.
Amen.
Because I attended the conference myself, actually, and I knew definitely that a lot of people were impacted, from the speakers to the organization, the red carpet, and all of that. It's a very good one, and we look forward to having more of that. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation to be on the show.
Thank you.
It's
The
a pleasure
pleasure is
having you.
mine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
Before we wrap up eventually, do you have a word of encouragement for the Nigerian youth?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I told to that young man, young woman who is watching this, and you think that this is all there is to your life, and I will say that's a lie. The last chapter of your life has not been written yet. If you give up now, you give up too soon. I don't care who gave up on you, but please, I beg you, don't give up on yourself. Make up your mind that you still write that book. Make up your mind that you go back to school. Make up your mind that you start that business. Whatever it was that was a fantasy, that dream. You remember that dream you had when you were much younger than this? You dreamt about flying an aeroplane. You dreamt about doing something really lofty in this world. You dreamt about standing out and making a difference. But somehow life had kicked you in the corner, hit you in the teeth, and you have even accepted that this is all there is to your life is a lie. You can do much more better. In you can emerge. Don't give up on yourself because God has not given up on you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mark. It's an awesome episode today on the TOD show, and the take home for me today is that you should never give up. If you're watching this today and you feel like giving up on any of your dreams, your visions and aspirations, please do not give up. According to Mr. Mark, sometimes you have to change your location to get your allocation. You don't have to move physically. You can move online. You can move virtually. Go for courses. Explore the internet. If you go for other courses and things online, it means you're in that location, but virtually, not physically. So everybody cannot travel out in this country, but wherever you are, try to leverage on technology, try to leverage on social media, and don't give up. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of the TOD show. I remain your host, Abayomi Odunola.